If this war escalates, everything gets more expensive. Gas prices are rising again, groceries feel more expensive, and everyday costs are slowly creeping up. But what most people don't realize is that behind these changes, there is something much bigger happening. A conflict in the Middle East involving Iran and the United States is starting to affect the global economy in ways that are not immediately obvious. And if this situation escalates, the impact could reach far beyond the region. It could affect how much you pay for fuel, food, and basic necessities. So the real question is, how does a war thousands of miles away end up hitting your wallet? At first glance, a conflict between countries in the Middle East may seem distant and unrelated to everyday life in other parts of the world. However, this region plays a critical role in the global economy, particularly when it comes to energy. The Middle East produces a large portion of the world's oil supply, and any disruption in this region can quickly affect global markets. This is why even small escalations in conflict can have widespread economic consequences. Oil is one of the most important resources in the global economy. It fuels transportation, powers industries, and supports supply chains that deliver goods around the world. When oil prices increase, the effects spread quickly across multiple sectors. This makes oil not just an energy source, but a key driver of economic stability. One of the most critical locations in this situation is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow passage through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply is transported. If this route is disrupted or blocked, even temporarily, it can create immediate shortages in the global market. This leads to rapid increases in oil prices, which then ripple through the entire economy. When supply is threatened, prices react quickly. Oil prices can spike within days or even hours when markets anticipate disruption. These price increases are driven not just by actual shortages, but also by uncertainty and fear. Traders and investors respond to risk, and that reaction alone can push prices higher. Higher oil prices translate directly into higher fuel costs for consumers. Gasoline prices rise, making transportation more expensive. For many households, this is one of the most noticeable impacts, as fuel is a regular expense. Even small increases can add up quickly over time. The effects do not stop at fuel. Transportation costs are a major part of food pricing. When fuel becomes more expensive, it costs more to move goods from farms to stores. This leads to higher prices for groceries, which affects every household. Modern supply chains are highly interconnected, relying on efficient and affordable transportation. When energy costs rise, every step of the process becomes more expensive. This includes manufacturing, shipping, and distribution, all of which contribute to the final price consumers pay. As these costs increase across multiple sectors, inflation begins to rise. Higher prices for energy and goods push overall price levels upward, reducing purchasing power. This can create a cycle where rising costs lead to further economic pressure. Central banks, such as the Federal Reserve, may respond by adjusting interest rates to control inflation. However, these actions can also slow economic growth, creating a difficult balance between stabilizing prices and supporting the economy. Because the global economy is interconnected, these effects are not limited to one country. Rising energy costs and inflation can impact markets worldwide, affecting both developed and developing economies. This is why conflicts like this matter, even for people far away. The economic impact is not immediate in every case, but over time, it becomes visible in everyday expenses. Understanding this connection helps explain why global events can have local consequences. So while the conflict may seem distant, its effects are much closer than they appear. From fuel to food, from prices to purchasing power, the impact can be felt in everyday life. And if the situation escalates further, those effects could become even more significant.